ING, Dakalama Uye, Kwanlin Ninje. My name is Jocelyn Jo-Strack. I'm a member of the Champagne and Ajax First Nation, and I grew up here in the Yukon. And as a teenager, I struggled. I was so sad, suicidal, bullied. I drank, ran away, and took risks with my body. Grade 9 was one of the hardest years of my life. Today, it appears that many of our young people are struggling even more than I did. We are working to understand the evolving challenges and strengths of our young people, and what it means to be healthy, to be whole. We often think of our bodies, how well we eat and how often we exercise, or of our minds, how well we do in school. But what about our hearts, our relationships and connections with family and community? What about our spirits, our connection to the energy of all great life and to the core of our deepest self, to our light? Every 4 years, Queen's University, supported by the Public Health Agency of Canada, takes a deep dive into the health behaviours and experiences of school-aged children across Canada, including here in the Yukon. In 2018, 73% of all Yukon students in grades 6 through 10 participated in the Health Behaviour in School-Aged Children Study, or HBSC for short. We use this data to compare the health of those who identify as male to those who identify as female, students in grades 6 to 8 to those in grades 9 to 10, and students in Yukon communities to those in Whitehorse. The HBSC study is a work in progress that strives to answer important questions about the health of our young people. We still have much to learn from many different groups, like our First Nations, about how future studies can best reflect and support Yukon people. With that, the 2018 study's findings are important to share because they are both devastating and hopeful. There are points to celebrate, like strength of family relationships and connection to culture. The findings about culture are especially encouraging because we know that students who speak their traditional language, who spend time on the land and participate in ceremony, tend to do better. This is a strength we can build on in the Yukon, with about 2/3 of students reporting that they feel connected to cultural and family traditions, and rural students being most likely to report being involved in cultural activities. As an auntie, a mother, some of the Yukon's HBSC study is heartbreaking to read. There are groups of young people who need more support, especially our girls in grades 9 and 10, and students living in the communities. There are concerns that affect all Yukon students, such as mental health or disconnection from heart and spirit. For example, since 2010, the number of students who reported feeling sad or hopeless every day has climbed steadily for all grades and genders. This is especially true for older girls in our communities. They are struggling more today than they have been since the study started in 2010. About 1/3 of all youth reported at least one indicator of depression. For girls in grades 9 and 10 in the communities, that number was 83%. Of those same girls, only 2% could say they felt confident in themselves. 83% of girls feeling depressed and 2% saying they are self-confident. Those are hard numbers to accept. This troubling trend for older girls in communities is one that we also see with respect to their physical, social, emotional, and spiritual well-being. When it comes to substances, students in community reported higher rates of alcohol, tobacco, and cannabis use. 41% of girls in communities had smoked tobacco in the past 30 days, compared with 12% of girls the same age living in Whitehorse. Questions about sexual health also revealed some troubling findings, but most would agree that having sex before the age of 13 is worrisome. Among sexually active students, this is the experience of 24% of Whitehorse girls and an alarming 41% of girls in the communities. For all boys in the territory, that number is closer to 20%. Unfortunately, dating violence is also a reality for many young women in the Yukon. About a quarter of grade 9 and 10 girls living in the communities reported being physically hurt by someone they were dating in the past year. A third of all grade 9 and 10 girls who responded also had been in a controlling or emotionally hurtful romantic relationship. Overall, the study identifies some real areas of concern, especially when it comes to the health and safety of our young women. But we also identified something that seems to reinforce the health of young people, and that is positive relationships. When youth reported positive relationships with peers and teachers in their community and in their homes, they were less likely to engage in risky behaviors like substance use, and more likely to engage in positive behaviors that promoted both physical and mental health. Positive, supportive relationships seem to be super important for all students as they move into higher grades, and they are especially helpful for rural students and girls. So what does that look like? School climate plays a part. When students reported a positive school climate, in other words, when they felt that school was a place they felt accepted, only 15% reported feeling low or depressed once a week. Among students who felt the school climate was negative, that number was much higher, at 50%. The flip side of those numbers is that 76% of students who felt accepted at school reported feelings of self-confidence, while only 42% of students who did not feel accepted said the same. Feelings around school seem to be closely linked with the use of drugs and alcohol, with students who feel good about the school climate less likely to report using substances. Similarly, students who felt supported at home by their families were less likely to smoke, drink, and use cannabis. So what can we take away from all this? What does it mean when it comes to helping young people thrive? It means that building strong relationships is really important. Strong relationships give students the support they need to feel connected and confident so they may engage in meaningful activities and strengthen their sense of self. One of the most impactful ways to achieve strong relationships is through reconnection. Reconnection with culture, spirit, self, community, and the land. If we want to reverse the negative student health trends we've been seeing since 2010, we need to pay attention to the results of studies like this one and find ways to actively support students when and where they need it. There are no quick fixes here, but identifying the problems or risk factors and the strengths or protective factors gives us some insight about where to start. The most powerful tool we have available is us, those who want to hold up our young people and support them in schools, at home, and in the broader community. When parents, educators, other adult supports, and youth themselves make time to reach out, connect, and engage with each other, it deepens and strengthens our connections and profoundly benefits the health of our young people, especially those who might be struggling. For myself, my greatest gift has been to find my role within our Yukon, to be able to give, stand, and lead for those coming behind me. It took a lot of self-awareness and tender care to journey through my trauma. It took reconnecting with my culture, the land of our ancestors, their voices, and the strength and determination of our communities. Most importantly, it took reigniting the light, the fire of my being and spirit so I could walk with confidence, with love, and now great belief in the strength and power of our young people. Tlahu, that is all. Goodness cheesh.